Welcome. This module serves as your essential gateway into understanding the remarkable intricacies of the human body, specifically focusing on its anatomy and physiology. We begin by laying a foundational overview, exploring the basic organization that allows us to exist and thrive. Anatomy, at its core, is the study of the body's structure, what it is made of, where its parts are located, and how they are organized. From the macroscopic level of cells and tissues to the macroscopic level of organs and organ systems, anatomy provides the blueprint. Complementing this, physiology delves into the dynamic functions of these structures, how each part works, both individually and in concert with others, to maintain life. It's about understanding the how and why behind processes like respiration, circulation, and nerve impulses. Throughout this presentation, we will consistently emphasize the inseparable relationship between anatomy and physiology, recognizing that a structure's form is perfectly suited to its function and vice versa. This holistic perspective is crucial for truly grasping the complexity and efficiency of the human organism. This module introduces the fundamental concepts of human anatomy and physiology. Anatomy is the scientific discipline dedicated to the study of the body's physical structures, including their organization, composition, and relationships. It examines everything from the microscopic details of cells and tissues to the macroscopic forms of organs and organ systems. In contrast, physiology focuses on the dynamic functions and processes that occur within the body. This includes understanding how structures work individually and collaboratively to perform life-sustaining activities, from cellular respiration to the complex coordination of organ systems. Crucially, anatomy and physiology are intrinsically linked. The unique structure of a body part precisely enables its specific function, and conversely, the demands of function can influence structural adaptations. Understanding this fundamental principle, how structure meets function, is essential for comprehending the human body's complexity. The foundational level of human anatomical and physiological organization begins at the chemical level. This tier encompasses all chemical substances essential for maintaining life, starting with the most fundamental units, atoms. Atoms are the smallest indivisible units of matter that retain the chemical properties of an element, such as carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, and nitrogen. These atoms, through chemical bonds, combine to form molecules. Simple molecules like water, vital for solvent properties, and carbon dioxide, a product of metabolism, are fundamental for numerous physiological processes. Ascending in complexity, we encounter essential biomolecules, which are large organic molecules critical for cellular structure and function. These include carbohydrates, serving as primary energy sources, lipids, forming cell membranes and energy stores, proteins, executing diverse functions from structural support to enzymatic catalysis, and nucleic acids, DNA and RNA, which store and transmit genetic information, dictating all cellular activities. Understanding this chemical foundation is paramount to comprehending the intricate workings of the human body. At the foundational level of human organization lies the cell, universally recognized as the basic structural and functional unit of all living organisms. Each cell, though microscopic, is a highly complex and self-contained entity capable of performing all essential life functions. These functions include metabolism, growth, response to stimuli, and reproduction. The human body is an astonishing testament to cellular organization, composed of trillions of specialized cells. These diverse cell types, ranging from neurons to muscle cells, epithelial cells to blood cells, are precisely organized to form tissues, which then construct organs, ultimately comprising entire organ systems. Understanding the cellular level is paramount to comprehending the intricate workings and remarkable adaptability of the human body. Moving beyond the cellular level, we arrive at the tissue level of organization. Tissues are precisely defined as groups of similar cells that work in concert to perform a specific, specialized function. This synergistic cooperation is absolutely fundamental to the body's ability to maintain homeostasis and execute complex physiological processes. Each tissue type is composed of cells exhibiting distinct structures and functions, enabling them to collectively accomplish a particular task. For instance, cells forming muscle tissue are specialized for contraction, while those in nervous tissue are adapted for transmitting electrical signals. There are four primary categories of tissues in the human body: epithelial tissue, which covers body surfaces and lines cavities; connective tissue, responsible for supporting, protecting, and binding other tissues together; muscle tissue, dedicated to movement; and nervous tissue, which facilitates communication and control throughout the entire body. A comprehensive understanding of the unique characteristics and roles of these tissues is essential for comprehending the integrated functioning of our organ systems. Moving up the organizational hierarchy from tissues, we encounter the organ level. An organ is a distinct structural unit composed of two or more different types of tissues that work together to perform a specific physiological function. For instance, the stomach, an organ crucial for digestion, is formed from epithelial tissue lining its lumen, connective tissue providing support, muscle tissue for churning food, and nervous tissue for coordination. Each organ is a highly specialized functional unit. The heart, for example, is primarily responsible for pumping blood throughout the body, while the lungs facilitate gas exchange and the kidneys filter waste from the blood. This level highlights how different tissues integrate to create complex structures capable of executing vital bodily processes, thereby ensuring the overall functionality and homeostasis of the human organism. The organ system level represents a pivotal stage of structural organization within the human body. At this level, various organs collaborate to form a cohesive system, each designed to execute specific, complex physiological functions essential for life. For instance, the circulatory system transports nutrients and oxygen, while the respiratory system facilitates gas exchange. The nervous system coordinates these actions, and the endocrine system regulates them through hormones. These systems do not operate in isolation, but are intricately interconnected, forming a highly integrated network. Their combined efforts ensure the maintenance of homeostasis, allowing the body to adapt and function effectively as a unified whole. Understanding these interdependencies is fundamental to comprehending overall human physiology. This segment provides an overview of the integumentary, skeletal, and muscular systems fundamental to the body's structure and function. The integumentary system, primarily composed of the skin, hair, and nails, serves as the body's largest organ. Its critical roles include providing a protective barrier against external pathogens and physical damage, regulating body temperature through sweating and vasodilation, and enabling sensation through various receptors for touch, pressure, and temperature. Moving inward, the skeletal system forms the body's internal framework. Comprising bones, cartilage, and ligaments, it offers crucial structural support, protects vital internal organs, facilitates movement by providing attachment points for muscles, stores essential minerals like calcium and phosphorus, and is the site of hematopoiesis, or blood cell production. Finally, the muscular system, encompassing skeletal, smooth, and cardiac muscles, is primarily responsible for movement. Skeletal muscles, under voluntary control, enable locomotion and manipulate the environment. Smooth muscles, found in the walls of internal organs, control involuntary actions such as digestion and blood pressure regulation. Cardiac muscle, exclusive to the heart, powers the circulation of blood throughout the body. Together, these three systems are intricately linked, working in concert to provide structure, protection, and dynamic function to the human body. This module continues our foundational overview by focusing on three critical organ systems: the nervous, endocrine, and cardiovascular systems. The nervous system acts as the body's rapid communication network, receiving, interpreting, and responding to stimuli. Comprising the brain, spinal cord, and an extensive network of nerves, it orchestrates everything from thought and movement to sensory perception, utilizing electrical impulses and chemical neurotransmitters for instantaneous coordination. Complementing this, the endocrine system employs a slower but equally vital chemical signaling approach. Glands throughout the body release hormones directly into the bloodstream, regulating long-term processes such as growth, metabolism, reproduction, and mood, maintaining overall physiological balance. Finally, the cardiovascular system, centered around the heart, is the body's essential transport mechanism. It circulates blood, delivering vital oxygen and nutrients to every cell while simultaneously removing metabolic waste products. Together, these three systems exemplify the body's intricate design, working in concert to maintain homeostasis and enable life. The human body relies on the coordinated efforts of numerous organ systems. We will now examine the lymphatic, respiratory, and digestive systems. The lymphatic system serves multiple critical functions. It maintains fluid balance by collecting excess interstitial fluid and returning it to the circulatory system. It absorbs dietary fats in the small intestine, and it is integral to immune defense, housing and transporting lymphocytes, which are vital for combating infection and disease. Next, the respiratory system, primarily composed of the lungs and airways, facilitates the essential process of gas exchange. It ensures the efficient uptake of oxygen, which is indispensable for cellular metabolism, and the removal of carbon dioxide, a metabolic byproduct. This system also plays a significant role in maintaining the body's acid-base balance. Finally, the digestive system is responsible for the mechanical and chemical breakdown of food into absorbable nutrients. This complex process involves a series of organs working in concert, from the initial ingestion through the esophagus, stomach, and intestines, ultimately leading to the absorption of vital nutrients and water and the subsequent elimination of undigested waste. Together, these systems underscore the body's intricate design for sustenance, protection, and equilibrium. The urinary system is fundamental for maintaining the body's internal environment, primarily by filtering blood to remove metabolic wastes and producing urine. Key organs include the kidneys, which perform the filtration, the ureters, which transport urine to the bladder for temporary storage, and the urethra for elimination. This system also plays a critical role in regulating fluid volume, electrolyte balance, and blood pressure, ensuring overall homeostasis. Parallel to this, the reproductive system is essential for the perpetuation of the species. Its primary function is the production of gametes, sperm in males and ova in females, and the facilitation of reproduction. While the specific organs differ significantly between sexes, they collectively work to ensure the continuity of life. Both the urinary and reproductive systems, though distinct in their primary functions, are intricately integrated within the broader physiological landscape of the human body. Fundamental life processes are essential characteristics distinguishing living organisms from non-living matter. Metabolism encompasses the entirety of chemical reactions occurring within the body. These reactions are broadly categorized into anabolism, the process of building complex substances from simpler ones, and catabolism, the breakdown of complex substances into simpler forms, releasing energy. This intricate balance ensures cellular maintenance, growth, and energy production. Responsiveness, or irritability, is the ability to detect and react to changes, known as stimuli, in both the internal and external environments. For instance, an increase in body temperature triggers a physiological response to cool down, while a loud noise elicits a startle reflex. This critical process allows organisms to maintain homeostasis and adapt to their surroundings. Movement refers to motion at various organizational levels. It includes the gross movements of the entire body, such as walking or lifting, as well as more subtle movements, like the contraction of individual muscles, the beating of the heart, the flow of blood, or the intracellular movement of organelles and molecules. All these movements are vital for physiological function and survival. Fundamental life processes are essential for the existence and perpetuation of the human body. Growth refers to the increase in body size primarily achieved through cellular proliferation, where cells divide and increase in number, and cellular enlargement, where individual cells grow in volume. Differentiation is a crucial process whereby unspecialized cells mature into distinct, specialized cell types. These specialized cells develop unique structures and functions, forming the diverse tissues and organs that make up the human body, such as nerve cells, muscle cells, and skin cells. Finally, reproduction encompasses two vital aspects: the formation of new cells, which is fundamental for tissue growth, repair, and maintenance throughout an individual's life, and the generation of new organisms, which ensures the continuation and survival of the species. Homeostasis, a fundamental principle in human anatomy and physiology, describes the body's remarkable capacity to maintain a stable internal environment. This dynamic equilibrium is essential for all physiological processes, ensuring that internal conditions remain within narrow, optimal ranges despite constant external challenges. Key physiological variables, including body temperature, blood pH, glucose levels, and fluid balance, are meticulously regulated through homeostatic mechanisms. Any significant deviation from these set points can impair cellular function, disrupt organ systems, and ultimately threaten the organism's viability. The body achieves this stability primarily through intricate regulatory mechanisms, most notably negative feedback loops. These systems detect changes, initiate corrective responses to counteract the deviation, and restore internal balance. A thorough understanding of homeostasis is therefore paramount to comprehending the overall function and resilience of the human body. The maintenance of homeostasis relies on a sophisticated regulatory loop involving three primary components. First, receptors are specialized sensory structures or cells designed to detect specific changes or stimuli, both internal and external. For instance, thermoreceptors in the skin detect changes in body temperature. Upon detecting a deviation from a physiological set point, these receptors generate and transmit signals, typically nerve impulses, to the next component. This brings us to the control center, which is often located in the brain or specific endocrine glands. The control center receives and integrates the input from the receptors, comparing it against the body's optimal set point. Based on this analysis, it determines the appropriate response needed to correct the imbalance. Finally, the effectors are the organs or cells that receive signals from the control center and execute the necessary actions. For example, if the control center detects a drop in body temperature, it might signal effector muscles to shiver, generating heat. Together, receptors, control centers, and effectors form a continuous feedback system, working in concert to ensure the body's internal environment remains stable despite external fluctuations. Negative feedback systems represent the fundamental regulatory mechanism by which the human body maintains internal stability, a critical state known as homeostasis. These systems operate on the principle of reversing any change that deviates from a predefined physiological set point. When a stimulus causes a parameter, such as blood glucose or body temperature, to move outside its optimal range, specialized sensors detect this alteration. Information is then relayed to a control center, which processes the input and activates specific effectors. The effectors initiate a response that directly counteracts or negates the original change, thereby restoring the parameter to its balanced state. This continuous, self-regulating process is indispensable for the body's efficient functioning and overall survival, ensuring that vital physiological conditions remain within precise, life-sustaining limits. Positive feedback systems represent a fundamental mechanism in human physiology that, instead of reversing a change, amplifies an initial stimulus, pushing the physiological response further in the same direction. Unlike negative feedback, which works to maintain homeostasis by opposing deviations, positive feedback systems are designed to accelerate a process towards a definitive endpoint. These systems are typically less common, but crucial for specific events requiring rapid and intense completion. A classic example is the process of childbirth, where uterine contractions stimulate the release of oxytocin, which in turn enhances the contractions, creating a positive feedback loop that intensifies until delivery. Another critical instance is blood clotting, where the activation of platelets releases chemicals that attract and activate more platelets, rapidly forming a clot to seal a damaged vessel. Understanding positive feedback is essential for comprehending the dynamic and sometimes explosive physiological processes that are vital for survival. Anatomical terminology provides a standardized, precise language essential for describing the human body. This specialized vocabulary eliminates ambiguity, ensuring universal understanding when discussing body structures, functions, and pathologies. It establishes a common reference point, regardless of a body's actual orientation, by using the universally accepted anatomical position as its baseline. Key components include anatomical planes, sagittal, frontal, and transverse, which divide the body for descriptive purposes, and directional terms such as superior, inferior, anterior, posterior, medial, and lateral, which define the relative positions of one structure to another. Mastering these terms is fundamental for clear and effective communication within all fields of anatomy and physiology. Understanding the human body requires a unified perspective that transcends mere identification of parts. Anatomy, the study of structure, systematically describes the body's organization, from the microscopic architecture of cells and tissues to the macroscopic arrangement of organs and systems. It answers the fundamental questions of what components exist and where they are located within the organism. In parallel, physiology, the study of function, investigates the dynamic processes and mechanisms by which these structures operate. It elucidates how each part performs its role, both individually and as part of a complex, interconnected network, explaining why these actions are vital for life. These two disciplines are intrinsically linked. Structure undeniably dictates function, and conversely, physiological demands can induce structural adaptations over time. A comprehensive and holistic understanding of human health, disease, and adaptation is only achievable by integrating these perspectives, recognizing that the form and function of the human body are interdependent and inseparable.